Hey guys, so PCI Express 5 is going to bring a lot more power to the table. I was looking at some PCI Express Gen 5 motherboards today and they're available and they will support the new Intel 12th generation CPUs. And in a few months' time, we should see the first Gen 5 capable or compatible graphics cards. The first of which will probably be the nvidia RTX 3090 Ti. Now, this new generation of graphics cards, this Gen 5 capable generation of graphics cards, they will support a lot more power. A lot more power. And in order to deliver that power, there's going to be a new VGA cable and there's going to be new Gen 5 capable power supplies. Now, if you've built a PC before or just repaired your existing one, you'll know that with PCI Express 3 and 4, you can get 75 watts from the PCI Express slot from the motherboard, but you can get 150 watts from each of the VGA cables. So with this PC, for example, I've got a 3090. There's two 8-pin VGA cables. They each deliver up to 150 watts. So in total, this graphics card can support up to 375 watts of power. And generally speaking with GPUs, the more power you have, yes, you need to cool it more, but you should see more performance as well. Now, with the RTX 3090s, there was a few overclocking cards that came out that actually had 3 separate VGA cables. So that's 450 watts and then 75 from the motherboard, so they could deliver up to 525 watts. So, connected to the motherboard in 3 cables, 525 watts, which is insane. But this new Gen 5 generation of graphics cards can support 600 watts with one cable, just one. And if you put 2 cables there, 1200 watts. It's insane. It really is insane to think of the performance jump that we might start seeing with the next generation of AMD nvidia cards. Now, I was reading about this today on videocards.com, and if I jump over, this might explain a little bit better as to what I'm talking about. So this is the new VGA cable, and this can support up to 600 watts. Now, if you look at it, you can see it's 12 pin, and you'll see it being referred to as 12 pin, but it's really 16 pin. So you see it being recognized as 12 pin or 12 plus 4. And if I go down here, you'll see why. There's an additional little pin down below. So you've got your 12 pins here, and then there's 4 pins underneath. So 12 plus 4 or 16 pin. And here it says that those 4 additional pins are sideband signal carriers to sense how much power should be supplied to the GPU. So that's, why it's 16 pins, or why it might be called 12 plus 4, and why other people are just calling it 12 pin. But yes, that is the new VGA cable, and that's what you're going to be using over the next few years when you're building PCs. Now, this article is quite interesting because you can see that's a 12 pin cable, and then this is a standard Asus power supply, but this actually, they've got a cable that actually supports the newer standard, but they're using custom cables for that. So this is a standard power supply layout with 6-pin SATA cables, Molex cables. You've got the motherboard cables, and then you've got all these 8-pin VGA cables. Now, you go down here, you can see that they've got the standard 8-pin connection, but at the other side, they've got that 12-pin or 16-pin connection, 12 plus 4. And that shows you how it's actually working. Now, this was actually, this story was actually originally here. That's where they've got it from. And there's a few extra pictures here that explain it. Let's show you what's going on. So what they're doing, it looks like an RTX 3090 there, but what they're doing is they're using an 8-pin to 12-pin connection there. So yeah, it's quite interesting that's what we're going to see with the next generation. So this setup here, as you can see, they're using an older style or an existing style of power supply. But we are going to see Gen 5 power supplies come out, and you can see here that, you can see it there, there's one 12-pin connection there on that power supply. And I suspect we're going to see other power supplies that have 2 12-pin or 12 plus 4. I mean, even I'm calling it 12-pin now. There's 12 pins, and you can see the 4 pins underneath there if you look. So it's 16 pin or 12 plus 4. But yeah, we're starting to see that out already, and there's some other articles out there now about the same issue here. And apparently the 3090 Ti cards are going to support this new VGA cable. And there's what I was saying there, 75 watts from the motherboard, 75 watts from a 6-pin connection, 150 from 8 pins, or 300 if you've got 2 of them, and then there's the overclocked GPUs. But this next generation, 600 watts from one VGA cable, 1200 watts, up to a total of 1275. Now, for those of you who haven't built a PC before, it doesn't sound like this is a big deal. It just sounds like you're using more electricity. But like I was saying, generally speaking, when it comes to graphics cards, one of the limitations is power. You only get so much performance up to a certain level, and then that's it. You've used your 300 watts, or you've used your 375 watts. And we did see, certain 3090 cards where the cards were essentially the same, but all they did was add an additional VGA port for more power, and the performance increased. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like in a few years' time when there's cards out there that use 2 of these 600 watt adapters. I think we're going to see a significant jump. It's not going to be great for the electricity bills, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, guys, especially if you're a PC builder. If you're looking to buy a graphics card the next year or so, this is something to keep in mind, because you might want to buy a Gen 5 capable PSU or Gen 5 capable motherboard, etc. Just bear in mind that in the next generation, a lot of these graphics cards will be optimized, I guess, for a 12+4 connection. Let me know what you think about this in the comment area, guys, and until next time, take care.